Welcome to the Millionaire Maker Show, a podcast helping online coaches monetize their life's work and scale their businesses to create more time, more money, more freedom, and more impact. Now, with over 20 years of business building, coaching, and consulting experience, here's your host, author, speaker, and creator of the Millionaire Maker Coaching Funnel, Lindsay Anderson.
Welcome to the Millionaire Maker Show. I am your host, Lindsay Anderson, resident expert in helping you grow a profitable online coaching business that affords you more time, more money, more freedom, and more impact. Right here on the show, I share with you powerful strategies on how to fill your coaching programs with high-quality individuals. I share with you the success stories of how coaches are really building amazing businesses that allow them to really have an impact, transform lots of lives, and really do that for so many people. Now, on today's episode, I am going to be covering one of my most powerful strategies for attracting right fit clients on social media, and that is my one true client method. So many times coaches try on social media, they end up posting and attracting what I call lower left-hand quadrant people who will get on your phone and say, "I love you, Lindsay, but I just can't afford you." Another problem coaches run into when going out to social media is you don't know what to post. And so you end up kind of posting a smattering of different things that don't really resonate with your target audience. On today's episode, you'll learn about the one true client method. And when you implement that, you will be able to really attract those high quality clients to your coaching business from social media. But before I dive into the one true client method, I want to make sure that you're signed up for my free live workshop starting on September 18th. It is called Fill Your Coaching Programs with Social Media. And if you head over to fillyourcoachingprograms.live, enter in your name and email and get registered for this powerful 5-day workshop. Over the course of 5 days, I'm going to be sharing with you, number one, my one-page business plan for growing a abundant coaching business. Now, what you don't want to do is try all of this stuff on your own without really having a plan. Maybe you have a membership. Maybe you have low-cost courses. Maybe you do one-on-one coaching. Maybe you haven't even started. But my one-page business plan will share with you exactly how to implement each one of these pieces so that you can continue to grow your coaching business year after year. So we will be covering that on the free live workshop. I'm also going to be covering what content do you need to post on social media that will attract right fit clients. And the important part is you don't want this to be eating up your entire day. I know you have other things to do than to spend all day long crafting content that may or may not attract your perfect coaching clients. On this free live workshop, I'll show you my powerful system on how to make sure this is not eating up your day. This is what you got to know about social media as a coach. You are not an influencer. The way Kim Kardashian posts and other influencers post is not how you should post. You really need to be posting on social media in a very specific way in order to present yourself as a coach, present your values, and really attract those right fit coaching clients. And the 5-day workshop will certainly show you how to do that. The second thing, well, I guess it's the third thing I'm going to be covering during those powerful 5 days is how to turn social media followers into paying coaching clients. I have a lot of people who come to me, Lindsay, I have a big Instagram or TikTok following, but I do not know how to convert these individuals into paying coaching clients. I'll be sharing with you step by step my invite-only strategy. This is a very powerful piece of marketing that if you invest your time in and you perfect in a very iterative way, will really allow you to scale your coaching business because you have this powerful marketing asset. And then finally, and this is a very important skill that all coaches need to learn, and that is my simple sales strategy, which is how to get on an enrollment call, lead your prospect through a series of questions that will let you understand where they are and will open up the opportunity for you to share your value and to prescribe the perfect coaching program for them. And all of this is how to make sales feel like casual conversation. Now, this is what I hear a lot from coaches. They'll say, "Oh, I'm pretty good on calls. I think I close 80% of the people that actually get on a call with me." And then I turn around and say, "Okay, so can I see a list of those individuals that you talk to and how you're calculating this?" And across the board, most people are not tracking their sales conversations and they're coming up with these closing numbers off the top of their head. Now, gut feeling and going with your emotions on these kind of things, it just does not offer you a clear vantage point on how you can improve your coaching business. And so, my point is, most coaches who have not really understood how to lead prospects through a powerful enrollment call. And they're just thinking they're doing a good enough job because they have good rapport with people. But then they actually look at the numbers. Typically, the numbers could be improved. And the number one place that coaches can improve enrolling more people into their coaching programs is through perfecting a good enrollment call. And I will certainly be covering that on the live workshop. So, one more time, you're going to want to go to fillyourcoachingprograms.live and put your name and email in there. Join me over the course of 5 days, and I will show you how to build an abundant and profitable coaching business. Now, if you're listening to this past September 18th, still head over to fillyourcoachingprograms.live. There's a wait list there. I do give this workshop a couple of times a year. You do not want to miss it. So let's hop into the one true client method. Where most coaches get their marketing wrong is you hear marketers talk to you about niching. And niching, super important. You definitely need a niche. What is a niche? That is who you serve, their demographics, what their problems are, and just like who they are, what their interests are. You have to have a real clear vision about who you serve. And that is one piece of the puzzle. That is for certain. But if you don't combine that with positioning and messaging, you will end up beating your head against the wall and not really having effective marketing. So the second piece is positioning. That is simply where you are in the marketplace compared to other coaches in the industry. Are you low cost, low touch, low value? Or do you offer high touch, high transformation, and high value? Or are you somewhere in between? The fact is, a lot of coaches come to me and they really want to sell high ticket. They complain, "Lindsay, no one will pay me for my coaching programs." But then you go look at their social media or you really start understanding what they're selling. And publicly, they are selling a low cost offer, some $47, $97 offer. But then they turn around and try to get several $1,000s for their coaching because they're an expert. The fact is, you have to pick your positioning in the marketplace because for coaches, you have to decide on one position that you service clients, and then you need to stick with that. You cannot be offering a low-cost offer and then turn around hoping that people will pay you high ticket coaching rates. It just doesn't work that way. So, number one, decide your niche. Number two, decide your position, where you are in comparison to your competitors. And then finally, and this is where a lot of people get it wrong, that is messaging. How are you talking to your ideal clients? This is the words you use, the topics you're covering on social media, how you're coming across, what your graphics look like, what your website looks like. This is what you have to know about marketing is that every single thing sends a message. We wish that what mama used to tell us was you can't judge a book by its cover, but the fact is that's a saying because everyone is judging a book by its cover. And so messaging, the way you speak, what you're saying, how you're saying it, what your videos look like, what your graphics look like, how you're really coming across is certainly super important for attracting those right fit coaching clients. This is what you got to know about attracting coaching clients on social media. It is a lot like fishing. When it comes to messaging, it's a lot like fishing. The kind of bait that you are using will attract certain kinds of fish. And the same goes for messaging. Your messaging is the bait that you are using to attract those coaching clients to your practice. And so, how does a coach do that? That seems like, all of this is very advanced marketing, okay? You're not going to get this in a marketing 101 class, and most people won't even cover positioning and messaging. But when you get the trifecta of niching, positioning, and messaging really nailed down, that is when your coaching business will start to sing. You can have a reliable lead source of high quality leads banging on your door saying, Lindsay, please, please help me. The one true client method actually, when you implement it, will help you master your niching, your positioning, and your messaging all in one. So let me cover that for you right now. First of all, is what you want to do is find someone in your experience with the following qualities. Okay. Number one, they have paid you for your coaching without any hesitation. They have given you what you have asked for. They came to you with the problem that you solve. You were able to actually solve that problem for them, and they had a really amazing transformation. They had the ambition to actually implement those things that you were telling them to do. We've all coached people that get really excited at the beginning, but never follow through. And there's a couple of tools in your tool belt that you can get for people to follow through. But a perfect coaching client comes with a great deal of ambition. They are super ready to solve this problem. Number four is they were a pleasure to work with. You loved this interaction. And so you really want to find one true client in your experience that has the income, the ambition, had the results, and was a true pleasure to work with who is in your experience. Here is what you've got to know about that, okay? I've done this for long enough. I already know what you're thinking. It cannot be you. When you choose one true client, in your experience, a lot of people hop to themselves. Well, I would pay myself for my own coaching program, and I am ambitious, and I would certainly do all of this, and I have the best, coaching programs, and I'm certain that you do. But the fact is, these coaching programs and our coaching business is so close to us. We cannot possibly see outside of the haze that is our perception of what we have been through, how we have developed our coaching programs, how awesome it is, how powerful it is. We cannot clearly see that and market to ourselves because fact is, if we were marketing to ourselves, we would be rich because we would buy our own stuff because we know how powerful it is. So it can't be you. You are not a good example. You can't market to yourself. Now, when I recommend the one true client methodology to people in my content that converts program, sometimes coaches will grab a Frankenstein version of two people. They'll say, oh, well, Barbara, I like the way she paid me and I liked her results, but really Marcia had more of my perfect problem and she came to me with a problem, but she didn't really pay me what I was worth and she really didn't have the ambition level, but she definitely had my problem. And then they'll try to Frankenstein these two individuals together and call them their one true client, but that will not work. In order for the one true client methodology to work really well, you have to have one true client in your experience. You cannot write this down, okay? Unless you're driving, write this down. You cannot market to somebody who is not in your experience. You won't understand your niching, your positioning, or your messaging. So the bad news is it's got to be someone in your experience, but the good news is it only has to be one. And since you're an expert coach, chances are you have a whole plethora of people to pick from. So go pick one true client in your experience that paid you, that has the ambition, that had the problem, and got the transformation that you're offering. Now, once you find your one true client in your experience, all you have to do, it's as simple as this, is write down their name on a Post-it note and stick it on your computer. And I'm not kidding. I want you to really do this. I do this. Now, in order for the one true client methodology to work, all you have to do is every single time you post on social media, every single time you're ready to send an email, all you have to do is say, what would Deborah, or whoever your one true client is that's right there on that Post-it note, think of this post or think of this email? Because you know Deborah, because she's in your experience and it's not you and it's not a Frankenstein version, you should have a pretty clear idea of what she's going to think of that post. Is she going to find it relevant? Is she going to find it useful? Is she going to say, why is Lindsay offering a $47 program for a membership to actually talk to her once a month in her membership, but then turn around and charge several $1,000s just to talk to her, every week privately? The math just doesn't make sense. And so when you double check your content with your Deborah and it won't resonate well with her, it's not applicable to her, then simply all you have to do is not post it. You can also ask yourself, hey, what kind of topics are Deborah interested in? When I talked to my Deborah, what were her problems? What was her situation? What did she come to me with? And you simply turn all of that into a social media post. Because back to my fishing analogy, fishing for clients on social media is very similar to fishing for real fish. Is that if you put that bait on, which is Deborah's story, your one true client's story, I promise you there are cookie cutter client versions of Deborah out there that you will be able to reach. Sometimes coaches often believe that's just such a specific set of circumstances, but really it's not. People are all kind of going through similar things. And when you are out there as a coach talking to your Deborah, you will be able to attract those individuals that felt similar to Deborah, that had the same experience of Deborah, and you will be able to attract more Deborahs into your coaching business. Let me explain to you how powerful this can be. I have a client, her name is Sheila. She is a health and wellness coach, and she came to me and she was selling publicly a $37 program. And when she came to me, she says, Lindsay, I have a lot of people buying this $37 program on social media, but when I try to convert them into high ticket coaching clients, nobody will buy from me. However, all of my referrals, the stuff that happens behind the scenes, all of those guys will pay me high ticket coaching rates, but I can't get anyone from social media to do the same. Please help me. So as I'm auditing her social media and as we're working on the one true client methodology and as I'm guiding her through how to show up and position yourself on social media, I found that she was really talking to what I call lower left-hand quadrant people. She was talking down to people, meaning like she wasn't speaking in her expertise. She was talking several years ago what she had gone through, not what she had, not what was recent for her. She was dumbing down a lot of things, talking in more simplistic language, selling a low-cost offer, doing a lot of cheerleading and a lot of, hey, this is why it's important. And when I walked her through the one true client methodology and I made sure that she checked in with her one true client before posting, within 2 weeks, she ended up making $37,000 off of social media into her coaching business from high ticket coaching packages. And that's how powerful that it can be. Here's the facts. Your clients are definitely on social media. Everybody is on social media. I promise you that if you perfect your messaging, your niching, and your positioning, you will be able to find high quality individuals on social media. They are actually already in your experience. So, Sheila had a very powerful transformation just within 2 weeks. And if you implement the One True Client strategy, you can have the same results as Sheila. You really have to double check in with your Deborah. Let me give you another example. I have a coaching student that is in Content That Converts, and she's a highly skilled divorce coach. Now, she's not just any divorce coach. In fact, her niche is she helps women after they've gone through the pain of divorce and the child custody, and they've already split from their spouse and they've gone through the real hell that can be divorce. And what her specialty is, how can you find your true self? How can you actually be happy on your own and find fulfillment there and be more successful in your health, wealth, and relationships after divorce? She's not helping you through your divorce process. She came to me in my Content That Converts program, and she's like, I'm not getting any coaching clients from social media. Can you please help me, Lindsay? When we go out to her social media, she's posting about divorce month. It's, hey, it's divorce month. Are you thinking about getting a divorce? Here are a couple of questions you should ask yourself about divorce. Now, if you look at her Deborah was somebody who already made the decision about divorce. And so the second she starts posting, hey, it's divorce month. Are you thinking about getting a divorce? Her Deborah, her one true client, is definitely going to pass by that post. How is this relevant to me? No. And not only that, I don't want to talk about that phase of divorce anymore. It was so painful. This is not relevant to me. And she will move on and not engage with your social media. And so a quick check in with her one true client, she would realize, oh yeah, my one true client doesn't care about divorce month. Maybe she could craft that post to be like, grateful that I'm on this side of divorce now that it's divorce month. But certainly you don't want to position it as, hey, are you thinking about getting a divorce? Because immediately your Deborah or your one true client will not be interacting with your social media. So that's how powerful it can be. It can be really tricky to be creating all of this content. So you're kind of grasping for different things and you end up just kind of talking about topics like that. And that can really make your social media so much more less effective. So it is so important to always be checking in with your one true client. And that's really how you apply the one true client method. It is as simple as it sounds, but you have to have that one true client, okay? If you're in a place where you don't have that one true client, people haven't paid you yet, they don't have that ambition, they're not like, you don't want cookie cutter versions of anybody, is what you need to do is go out and find those individuals in your experience and interview them. You go out and say, hey, is anybody struggling with XYZ? Would you be open to interviewing with me so I can ask you a couple of questions? Because you have to be able to talk to them. And in your mind's eye, you have to be able to have this persona, like you're having a conversation with this person to really see if what you're posting is relevant. And so that is how you are always posting what your content should really be like on social media. Now, there's a lot of other ways and a lot of other factors in helping you craft an amazing social media presence that will attract high fit coaching clients to your business, and making sure your profile is up to date, that you are posting customer testimonials, that you are very clear in what you do. And not only that, how to get those individuals off of social and into your coaching program. So what I covered today is certainly one of the first things that you need to be aware of and one of the most important things. But if you are looking for an entire strategy of, okay, what do I post every day? What do these things say? how do I show up as a coach on social media? Make sure you go get signed up for my workshop, fillyourcoachingprograms.live. That's happening starting September 18th. Go out there and I will cover even more of what I've covered right here on the Millionaire Maker Show. So there you have the One True Client method. Please put this thing on a Post-it note. Take my advice. This is the simplest way to make sure you're staying on the straight and narrow when posting content for your coaching business. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Millionaire Maker Show. If you enjoy this podcast, please go out, leave us a review. I really appreciate everybody who has left us a review on this podcast. I hope to see you at the free live workshop. Again, go to fillyourcoachingprograms.live, and I'll see you there.
Thank you for listening to the Millionaire Maker Show with master business coach and creator of the Millionaire Maker Coaching Funnel, Lindsay Anderson. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Until next time.